desert in Icarus is harsh. There's not many trees, there's hardly any fiber, obviously there's not much water and it doesn't rain, and this was going to be our first mission where we had to spend any significant amount of time there. The objective of this mission was to head into the desert, pick up some scanning equipment, and then go to 3 different spots, do the scans, and then get back to the loadout ship alive. We decided not to create a base for this one. We figured that in a lot of them we've spent ages making a base and we haven't really needed it, so this time we're going to just try and trek across the desert, picking up stuff and crafting it as we need it as we go. As always, one of the first things I do is make sure I've crafted a pickaxe so I can pick up more stone easily. I need a bow to kill animals, and then I get a knife as well, just because I want to be able to skin animals and get meat and things like that. By now in Icarus, we've got pretty good at hunting, so smaller animals like cougars and hyenas and wolves and things aren't really much of a threat. But they are a really good opportunity to be able to get some meat, to be able to get some bones, and use them to craft all sorts of different things later on. We also found out in this mission that once you've skinned an animal, you can actually keep on hacking at the corpses with your knife to get tons of bone, which is really useful for being able to make a bone knife and being able to make bone arrows to do a little bit more damage. Of course, being a new biome for us means there are new threats, and one of the scariest threats in the desert is what you can just see over this rock, the elephant. This thing is absolutely terrifying.
There's a hyena behind you.
Ah!
The elephant's half health?
There's more hyenas.
I killed one of the hyenas.
I've run out of arrows.
Why did you shoot the elephant? Don't know if the arrow went in arrow. Oh, it went in arrow. It definitely went in arrow. Are you dead, Nimga?
No, the elephant just stopped. It's going back to you.
Yeah, I know it is. That's why I thought you were dead.
Nice warning. Right on time. It's going after you, at least.
Ah! I just turned around and it like took up most of my screen.
Have I got any fibre? I need fibre for
Oh.
What? I can't run anymore. Ow!
Oh.
He's almost dead.
How do you know?
I've got the health bar on.
Fibre. What do you need fibre for? I've got 7. Oh, we need a better knife. So. Oh, that was horrific. With the elephant dead, that meant that we could keep on going towards picking up our scanning thing, but there were so many enemies all the way down our route, and I didn't have much health after that run-in with the elephant, so I had to be a little bit careful and sort of back up a bit. Sometimes enemies were glitching out like that, where they were just kind of standing still while we were trying to fight them, which we weren't complaining about because we were running low on arrows, running low on health, running low on basically everything at this point. One of the things you constantly have to worry about Icarus is oxygen. There's not enough oxygen in the air to breathe, so you need to constantly mine oxide to fill up your reserves. So every now and then I'd have to do a little bit more mining and then just put it in my inventory, and then you'll kind of slowly breathe from it. You can get things that extract oxygen from this in a much more efficient way, but without a base we weren't going to bother with anything like that. As the afternoon drew on, it started to get cool enough that we could use fires without immediately overheating, and we needed to start cooking some meat because we needed to eat. Thankfully, we had loads of meat from all of the different things that we'd been murdering. Once we were done with our meal of elephant and hyena and cougar, we decided it was time to move on and try and make up a little bit more ground before it got completely dark and we wouldn't be able to see where we were going. Day as well, isn't it? The whole journey we were constantly having to kill things and fight things. There's so many predators in the desert and there's very little to hide behind, so they always see you and then come and attack you. There's 2 things attacking me. 1 thing attacking me. Well, not necessarily. As it started getting later, we started thinking about what we were going to do about camping. Was it going to be safer to try and keep on moving through the night, using torches and things like that to find our way, but having to constantly fight, you know, hyenas and possibly more elephants? Or were we going to try and make a little base where we could set up 3 sleeping bags and then pass the night that way? While we were pondering this, we were set upon by another elephant. Name get the elephant's pissed off. It's quite hard to get. Where's the critical hits on the elephant? I do get them sometimes. Oh, is that elephant glitched? Because we're just. Oh shit! It was glitched.
Oh no! I shouldn't have stopped.
Is it its butt? No. Fucking. Oh, see there. I just did. There you go.
Right in front of it, I think.
We realised we were on the wrong side of a small canyon from our objective, and somehow we had to get down to the river in order to get some water and then cross over. But it was quite precarious looking for a way down that might stop us from dying. I dropped down a little way and then tried to get back, and this happened.
Dangerous.
Ah! Ah! Can you come get me?
What? Get you? What? It's your body, you mean? Or?
Well, yeah, revive me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
As Namegear and Arrow carefully made their way down the rocks without breaking their legs or knocking themselves unconscious like I did, if I looked at my own view from lying on the ground, fell to my untimely doom.
Okay.
Apparently elephants aren't endangered there. They will be!
Once Namegear's finished them. Oh, could we go again?
What, elephant?
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Nice shot.
Wait, come get me. Minute.
We're coming. We're coming.
No,
How far did you fall
don't
down?
jump.
Yep.
To the bottom.
Yeah, I'm next to the river.
We're just going the safe way. Okay, so it's taken a while.
What's that over there? Is that the entrance to the snowy biome? A little bit weird to have the snowy biome next to the deserty biome.
Is this...
Oh, you walked so close to the edge.
Risk it? Go down this bit?
Let's
I would say one of you go.
I got quite a lot of health.
Yeah, I didn't have any health. I mean, Anna. Namegear and Arrow bravely made their way down to try and revive me while I was looking out. For whatever reason, at this point, Namegear was just teabagging the camera, which was kind of a little bit strange. And if I went back to my view, I realised that there was another massive elephant just hanging out right on my body. Thankfully, after a little while, it kind of lost interest and started wandering off, which gave the others an opportunity to come round and revive me. Thanks. When you get revived in Icarus, you come back with very little food, oxygen or water, so thank God that I'd ended up falling and needing to be revived right next to a river, and there happened to be some fibre and stuff like that about, which was super helpful, because it meant I wasn't going to be injured for too long. As I cooked some food back to try and regain some of my strength, we encountered the first of many sandstorms. So this is a type of weather that you only get in the desert biome, and it's not useful like rainstorms and things like that in the forest biome. Instead, it just starts causing some exposure, so eventually affecting your health, and makes visibility pretty bad. Now this first one was really light, so we just got to see kind of the cool particle effects that you get while this is happening. I'd love to see stuff like this in games like Warzone, see some real weather effects. I think that'd be really fun. With the storm starting to get a little bit more serious, we decided to power on and try and find some place to find some shelter. Like maybe we'd be able to get a cave, maybe we'd be able to just find some sort of cover from this storm that was really at risk of finishing me off because I still had less than half health. After sheltering in some little rocky overpasses and things like that, we eventually managed to get through to the other side of the storm, and while it was getting dark, it was past 4 o'clock now, which in Icarus world for some reason means it starts getting dark. We did find the first radar site, and we decided to cook some meat, get our strength back up, and prepare ready for the fight. The first time we'd done one of these missions where you had to go scan different areas, every time you set up the scanner, some crazy animals attacked. Like at one point it was 3 bears just spawned right on the scanner. So we decided a new strategy of backing off a little bit, letting one person start the scanner while the other 2 had arrows at the ready to try and take care of whatever happened. We're gonna cook today. While we were preparing, we realised, as it always will do in the desert, it was getting insanely cold. So we set up 3 fires rather than just 1, just to try and get our temperatures up a little bit, and cook loads more meat a little bit more efficiently. I took up position a little bit away from the main fires and lit a floor torch so I could see what was happening if something came to attack me, and then we got ready to fight. At first we thought we were alone, but then Namegear sent up a flare arrow and we realised our target was an elephant. Thankfully by now we'd killed a few of these, so even though it was really dark and hard to see, and we knew there was a cliff there, we actually took the elephant down pretty quickly with all 3 of us firing arrows into its face.
If you go west first.
With the elephant down, we decided we could start packing up the fires and we could mark the next objective on our map, which was quite a long way away, and we had to try and figure out a route where we could get there around some of the impassable mountains. We decided instead of trying to build a camp, we were actually just going to take advantage of the lower temperatures and try to run there in the middle of the night. Now at this point, we didn't have hardly any fibre anymore, and that meant only one of us had a torch. Arrow was the only one who could actually see what he was doing, so we kind of had to follow behind him. But it did make everything look super atmospheric and cool. As it got later, it got colder and colder until the temperatures actually plummeted to freezing. So now instead of trying to stay cool by going through the water and things like that, we were starting to have to burn everything that we had to try and keep ourselves warm. Travelling through the night in the desert was super difficult because we couldn't see whether there were all of the predators that we'd been seeing during the day. Namegear could fire his flare arrows up occasionally, but they didn't last very long. At least they gave us a moment where we knew the path ahead was clear and we could kind of sprint ahead for a little bit until he had another one ready. At this point, we were setting up the fires every couple of minutes because it was just that cold. And whenever we set up the fires, there was always a chance that we were going to get attacked like this. Again, thankfully, at this point, we could deal with the smaller animals without too much trouble, but it still gave us a bit of a fright when something leapt out of the dark towards us. A pro tip for anyone trying to stay warm in the desert at night, don't stand on your fire and then set yourself on fire, losing nearly all of your health in the process. I don't think I'm going to die, but it's going to be kind of close. So now here we were in the middle of the night in the desert. I had basically no health after setting myself on fire. I was running out of water and soon to be dying of thirst, and then I got bitten a little bit more by a cougar, which made things much worse. Oh, that was horrible. There's another one. We thought we'd just seen another cougar with that flare arrow, so Namegear decided to send another one, and there was another elephant right there in front of us, just where we'd seen the cougar that we were trying to attack. Okay. We decided to hide at this point. We didn't really have any good way of dealing with the elephant. I had so little health I was going to get knocked out if anything hit me, so we just had to kind of take stock of the situation and work out what we were going to do to get around this elephant in the dark. Hit it. As always, Namegear's solution was to just try and fight it head on. In the middle of the night, we were going to try and fight it and kill it. Luckily, with an arrow to the face, I managed to kill it and level up. Still didn't have much health, but I felt a lot more confident now that we had managed to take down that elephant and we could keep on going on our journey. As morning started to break, I'd built a sickle, which meant that I could start harvesting these ferns that we'd found and get so much more fibre. The sickle really is a game changer. It means that you basically never run out of fibre as long as you've got a few ferns nearby, because you end up getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of it. So that meant I could start making some cloth clothes, which would give us some protection from the heat as it got towards daytime. The light of morning was an incredibly welcome sight, and we were still just heading towards Site 2. We had another site after this to deal with, but even with a sandstorm, we weren't too bothered because we could see where we were going again, so we could start making progress. The sandstorm did start becoming an issue though, so I decided to try and craft some wooden shelter, just in the entrance to this little kind of cave section that was giving us a tiny bit of protection, so we'd have a little bit more space and we'd be able to survive the storm without losing any health. Does not count as shelter. I was hoping it would. It does not. I don't have enough wood to finish it. Yeah, this little cave is better. Although the storm is about to get much worse. But are you gonna? Oh, you finishing it? I thought you were about to burn it down. Then I said, Jesus, I'm sorry it didn't work. Don't forget to leave a door hole. Is that working? Is that shelter?
Yeah. Fine.
Nice. The shelter had helped us to weather the storm, but now we had a new problem. We were kind of stuck in this little gully, and a cougar was on the other side of the shelter, breaking it down, trying to come through to eat us. Poor cougar. After all that. So now we had another journey across the desert. Because it was light, we had a decent amount of health, we'd eaten, we had loads of tools, and now we had some cloth armor. We were feeling a lot more confident, and we could make quite good time and still have time to gather things like food and water and materials in case we needed something else in the future.
That's pissed off.
Even elephants weren't as scary as they used to be, and we did keep having this thing where they kept glitching out a little bit, where they wouldn't charge or they'd walk really slowly, probably a pathing issue or something. But we were taking them out fairly simply, and here, like, we had a bunch of hyenas attacking us as well, but it just wasn't a problem, and we escaped without too many major injuries. As we got to the second scanning point, I decided to make a little hut that we could put some sleeping bags inside so we'd be able to respawn if we died or anything like that. And we really over-prepared in terms of getting to good positions where we would be able to snipe any animals that appeared. In the end, it was all completely and utterly pointless because the animals that appeared were absolutely tiny and weren't at all a threat to us. So we dealt with this super quickly and were able to move on. We reached the last location pretty quickly, and confusingly this one was called Location 2, and just as we got there and set the thing scanning, a sandstorm was about to begin. Now we were in this strange canyon with a waterfall at one end, there was a gully, we knew there was an elephant below, and we weren't again sure what was going to be attacking us. If an elephant had come up at the top at this point, we would have been in a lot of trouble. I thought I was getting really clever by hiding up here to snipe, but there was some glitch where my arrows would just get stuck in kind of an invisible wall, right where my face was. I could pick them up, they were just sort of stuck in the air, but I had to jump down. Thankfully, everything that was fighting us was kind of insignificant. There was some boars and some cougars. The boars do take a lot of hits, but they still went down pretty quickly compared to an elephant or anything like that, and we managed to complete this objective really quickly. The next problem was that we were stuck in the middle of a sandstorm, temperatures were incredibly high, and the good source of water below us that might keep us cool was unfortunately also home to an elephant that Namegear had occasionally been firing fire arrows at the whole time that we'd been fighting, so it was kind of angry and stuck down there. If you want to help me kill this elephant, that'd be wonderful. It's done quite a lot of damage to it, and it's on fire again. Okay. With the elephant dead, we could then try and hide in this river and find a way to cool down. Now, since there was a waterfall at one end of the river, and this is a video game, I was kind of hopeful that there'd be some place to hide underneath the waterfall, because that's just kind of what you expect with video games. Surely there's a cave here. Not enough of one. Oh yeah, there is a bit of a cave. Yeah, you can go here. Find a waterfall. It's too hot, but...
Well, it's like a volcano.
You're a volcano.
Yeah. It's okay now. It's okay now.
We now had nothing better to do than just wait out the storm. It wasn't going to last forever, but we really couldn't go out there and risk getting exposure and dying after we completed all the objectives, and the only thing we had to do now was get back to the dropship. Of course, there's always time to get a couple of cool screenshots ready for the thumbnail. There. Eventually we just got bored and decided to go for it anyway. It's super hard to see in this, especially when Namegear fires up flare arrows and everything looks like it's in night vision, but without the benefit of actually being able to see anything. But we were feeling pretty confident at this point, so we just wanted to jog back to the base. Within no time the storm had passed and we were just following the river back and doing these graceful leaps. Okay, I missed it. Trying to get over rivers and get back to where the dropships were going to be waiting for us to take us back into space. Eventually it got dark again, as day is wont to do, and one of the problems that we had was that we were travelling very, very close to a canyon. And canyons are really, really dangerous at night time, so we were constantly having to be a little bit careful that we weren't going to drop down to our deaths. Plus we still had the local wildlife to deal with, like this massive elephant, but by this point we'd killed a bunch of these, and with loads of stealth attacks and some well-placed critical hits, we could take care of them without too much problem or without any of us dying. Elephant, elephant. Ah! Don't stop!
It's almost dead. Almost.
I'm running out of stamina! Is it dead? No! Whoa! I heard someone skinning, so I assumed it was dead.
No, it's my knife. I wasn't skinning.
Oh, okay. Phew.
Oh, yeah.
As we checked the map to work out which route we needed to take, we realised that we definitely had to cross this canyon at some point. There was no way around it. Yeah. We were going to have to drop down in order to get back to the dropships. Now, in the middle of the night, this is a kind of scary prospect. What's Harrow doing?
Risking it.
Where?
Oh yeah, that was okay.
Where are you?
A bit further down. This way.
Okay, I'll stay here so you can see where I fell to.
Can I craft a parachute? Was he here?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's down
below
there.
you,
Oh,
below
yeah.
you.
Oh, don't get hit me!
Oh,
I was going to jump across there and then I bounced off you, so I just sort of... Well, my ankle's twisted.
uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, that hurt a lot, that hurt a lot. Do not necessarily do that.
Do not necessarily do that.
I don't think we have much.
Oh no, we
options.
can. We go this way. Go this way. That's a bit better. Don't necessarily do
I don't think I can move for like 4 minutes.
You got one of those light
think this is
arrows.
worse.
Have you got one of those green arrows? I don't know, you could land on that little ledge. Let's go back the other way. What can we see? What can we see?
Oh no! Oh, okay, that one.
I'm gonna try it. What was that?
What can I drop?
There we go. Landed on your head arrow. I bounced off. I didn't take any damage.
What were you? Hold your torch on. Hold your torch on.
Or
Right, stay there.
yeah, okay.
Thanks.
That also works.
And with that, we were pretty much back at our dropships and then we could finally leave. I'm really having a blast doing these Icarus videos. I really enjoy streaming the game. I really enjoy making the videos. So thank you so much for your support in liking, leaving comments, and just watching them. I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you very much and see you next time. Goodbye. The screen is showing that I'm currently frozen, but